The stars of the galaxy shone bright over the floating planet of Alara Prime. It was a special day across the universe. A royal announcement echoed through space. Princess Varaya of the Alari Empire is ready to choose a mate. Alara Prime. The home of the Alari race was known for its beauty, peace, and ancient wisdom. Their princess, Varaya, was small in size but carried the power of a long royal bloodline. Her skin glowed like silver, and her eyes were filled with secrets of the stars. Yet, despite her beauty, power, and title, she stood alone in the grand Galaxy Hall. Thousands of alien males stood in line, waiting. Some were giant and strong. Some had wings, others had minds that could move objects. Everyone came to see her. Everyone came to say no. One by one, the suitors stepped forward. And one by one, they rejected her. The Director General bowed low, then turned away. The glowing Zellari prince smiled, but stepped back. Even the cold-hearted Vexury mind reader looked into her soul and whispered, "Not her." It was strange. No one gave a reason. No one dared speak the truth. But whispers traveled faster than light across the stars. She is cursed. Every man who loves her dies. The Princess of Sorrow brings ruin to her mate. Varaya stood on the royal platform with her head held high. But inside, her heart was breaking. She had waited years for this day. She had studied, trained, and prepared. All she wanted was someone to stand beside her, to understand her, to care for her. But no one wanted the cursed princess. Behind the curtains, the Alari queen watched in silence. Her face showed no emotion, but her hand trembled. She knew the truth. The curse was real. Every man who tried to bond with Varaya had fallen, one to madness, one to fire, and one to the void of space. And now, the last alien prince walked away. The hall fell silent. The grand matchmaker of the council stood up and announced, "This trial is over. No match has been found. The princess will remain alone." The galaxy watched live. Billions of eyes on every planet saw the moment. Some felt sorry. Others felt fear. Many just turned off their screens and forgot. But then, a voice came from the far end of the hall, soft but strong. Curious but clear, "I'll take the risk." Heads turned. The camera zoomed in. A man stood alone at the back. He was not tall, not glowing, and not from any famous race. His clothes were simple, his eyes sharp, and his species? One that was rarely seen in royal halls. A human. The council gasped. The guards moved forward. A whisper filled the air. "What is a human doing here?" The matchmaker frowned. "You are not from a royal line," he said. "You are not strong like the Director or gifted like the Vexury. Why would you think you can stand before the princes?" The man stepped forward. "My name is Jace, from Earth. I don't care about power. I don't care about fear. I only care about who she is." Varaya looked at him with wide eyes. She had studied many species, but this one, this human, was a mystery. Earth was a small planet, often ignored. Its people were seen as weak, emotional, and unpredictable. But now one stood before her. Not because of her crown. Not for her kingdom, but for her. The queen stood up. "Do you understand the risk?" She asked. "I do," said Jace. "Let me speak with her." For a long moment, there was silence. Then the queen nodded. The guards stepped aside. Varaya stepped down from the platform. Her heart beat fast. As she came close, she felt something strange. No fear in him. No coldness. Only warmth. She reached out her hand. Everyone held their breath. Jace reached back and held it. Nothing happened. No fire. No curse. No death. The princess smiled for the first time in years. Cliffhanger ending, but far away, in the shadows of the stars, something ancient awakened. Something that had been watching. "A human has touched the cursed one," it growled. Then the real story begins. No one moved. The grand hall that had once echoed with laughter, speeches, and footsteps now stood frozen in complete silence. The alien crowd, once so confident and proud, now watched in disbelief as a human held the hand of the cursed princess. Jace didn't flinch. His grip on Varea's hand was steady, calm, and warm. Not the grip of a man who didn't know fear, but one who had faced it before and chosen to move through it. Princess Varea looked up at him. She expected pain or screams or blood like before. But there was none. His skin didn't burn. His mind didn't collapse. His body didn't fall apart. For the first time in her life, she felt the touch of someone who wasn't afraid to feel. Her soul, the council members murmured among themselves. The Ilari queen kept her eyes locked on Jace. She had seen many powerful beings fall just by being close to her daughter. And yet this simple, unarmored human stood like a mountain before them. The grand matchmaker, still in shock, finally found his voice. "This has never happened," he whispered. "The human survives the touch, but why?" No one had an answer. Not yet. Jace didn't care about the whispers. His eyes were only on Varea. "You looked lonely," he said softly, "like someone waiting for the world to finally listen." She blinked, stunned. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Everyone saw her as a throne, a threat, or a tragedy. But not him. He saw her. The hall began to empty. The other alien males, some still angry, some confused, returned to their ships. Their pride couldn't accept what they had witnessed, that a weak, emotional human had done what none of them could. A bond had been formed. The impossible had happened. That night, Jace was invited to the palace. Not as a servant, not as a guest, but as someone who now had a connection to the royal line. He walked beside Varea through long golden halls filled with ancient light. Portraits of her ancestors lined the walls, proud, tall, powerful. And yet, each one had eyes full of sadness. "I don't understand," Varea said finally. Her voice was small but full of emotion. "Why didn't the curse hurt you?" Jace gave a half smile. "Maybe I'm cursed too," he joked, then looked serious. "Or maybe your curse was never meant for me." She tilted her head. "You really don't fear me?" "I don't fear pain," Jace said. "I fear being forgotten." She turned away for a moment. "Every man before you, they said they loved me. But they only saw a crown, not my heart. You don't know me." Jace nodded. "Then tell me." And so she did. They sat in the starlight garden, where glowing flowers bloomed in silence. There, under the watchful moons, Varea told her story. Of her birth, her powers, the mysterious energy inside her that no one could explain. Of the day her father died after holding her hand for too long. Of the 3 alien suitors who came, close only to lose their minds, their lives, or their will to live. She spoke of loneliness. Of being feared by her people, worshipped but never loved. Jace listened, really listened. He didn't try to fix her. He didn't offer empty words. He just stayed. And as the stars moved slowly across the sky, something changed in her. The fear inside her heart, once cold and sharp, began to melt. But not everyone was happy. In a hidden part of the galaxy, in a system with no name, a creature opened its many eyes. It had been watching the royal bloodline for centuries. It was the keeper of the ancient laws, the enforcer of the curse. The curse was not born from magic. It was a prison, a sentence placed on the Ilari bloodline by something older than the stars. And now, a human had broken it. Unacceptable, the creature hissed through the dark. The bond must not happen. Back on Ilara Prime, strange signs began to appear. The royal garden flowers started to fade. The palace walls, once warm, turned cold. The light crystals blinked without reason. The Ilari priests warned of a dark energy returning, something they had locked away long ago. And Varea, she started to hear voices in her dreams, calling her, warning her. telling her to stay away from the human, but Jace was not afraid. In fact, he began to feel stronger. The more time he spent near her, the more he noticed small changes. His body healed faster. His thoughts were clearer. It was as if her presence gave him more than anyone knew. She wasn't cursed. She was powerful. Too powerful. And someone in the galaxy wanted to keep that hidden. But it was too late now. The human had touched the forbiddance, and the galaxy was about to pay the price. The news spread faster than any ship in the galaxy. From the icy moons of Vornek to the storm-covered cities of Keltari. Every screen, every network, every data stream repeated the same unbelievable message. The cursed Ilari princess has bonded with a human male. And he lives. In a universe where fear ruled diplomacy and bloodlines shaped destiny. This news was more than shocking, it was dangerous. The Galactic High Council, a circle of the most powerful alien species, called an emergency meeting on the Golden Ring world of Zevred. The chamber was vast, floating in open space. Leaders sat around a sphere of energy that pulsed with ancient code. The Drakter warlord slammed his fist into the table. This is unnatural. The curse is not a myth. If it failed, it means something is changing. Something forbiddens. The Vexari seer, her eyes glowing with silent thought, nodded slowly. The bond has been broken by a human. But the question is not how. The question is, what wakes up because of it? The amphibious Crete ambassador clicked his jaws together. We all agreed long ago to never interfere with the Ilari curse. It keeps the balance. If it is disturbed, then old powers will rise, the seer finished. And not all of them sleep peacefully. They voted, quietly, carefully, and the result was clear. Earth must be watched. The human must be contained. On Alara Prime, Jace remained unaware of the storm rising across the stars. He walked the palace gardens with Varaya, laughed with her in the royal library, and listened to music from her people, a language made only of light. Their bond was growing stronger. But strange things had begun to happen around them. The palace guards started seeing shadows in places where no light was blocked. Machines flickered when Jace passed by. And sometimes, Varaya's reflection in mirrors did not match her movements. Jace noticed her waking up at night, gasping, her fingers glowing with a blue fire that vanished as fast as it came. One evening, as they sat on the edge of the palace's floating cliffside, Varaya broke the silence. "My mother fears me," she whispered. Jace looked at her. "Why? She knows the curse isn't a punishment," she said slowly. "It's a protection." "Protection from what?" "From what I truly am." He stayed quiet. He could feel the weight of her words. "I was never cursed," she said. "I was sealed." Before he could ask more, the sky above them cracked open with the roar of starships. A fleet of black, unmarked cruisers descended on Alara Prime. They came without warning, without flags, without names. But Varaya knew who they were. The Galactic Enforcers, she said bitterly. "They're here for you." Dozens of armored beings landed, weapons drawn. Their leader, a tall being with silver armor and no face, stepped forward. "By the order of the Galactic High Council," he said, "we are here to detain the human named Jace of Earth. He has violated the interspecies bonding protocols." Jace stood protectively in front of Varaya. "I didn't break anything," he said. "I just held her hand." "That's exactly the problem," the enforcer replied coldly. "You should not have survived." The Ilari Queen appeared from the shadows of the hall, her face unreadable. "Stand down," she ordered, but the enforcers didn't move. Jace clenched his fists. "If I go with them, what happens?" "You'll be taken for testing," said the faceless enforcer. "To understand how you broke the curse. You may not survive." Jace looked back at Varaya. Her eyes were glowing now, not with fear, but with fire. "No," she said. "You won't take him." And for the first time in 1,000 years, The true power of the Ilari bloodline returned. With a scream that shook the sky, Viraya raised her hand and the gravity around the palace flipped. The ships in the sky spun out of control. The ground cracked beneath the enforcer's boots. Light poured from her body like a storm of stars. Jace watched in awe. She was no longer the cursed princess. She was a weapon that the galaxy had tried to lock away. The enforcers were thrown back by an invisible force, and one by one, they retreated into the sky, their ships burning behind them. When silence returned, Viraya collapsed into Jace's arms. Her body was shaking, her energy almost gone. "I didn't want you to see that," she whispered. Jace held her close. "I'm glad I did." Far across the galaxy, the creature who had been watching all along laughed in the dark. "She has chosen him," it growled. "And now the seal is truly broken." It turned toward a vault of light hidden behind 10 ancient locks. "Awaken," it whispered. Inside the vault, something stirred, something older than fear, and far more dangerous than love. The stars did not blink that night. Even space itself seemed to hold its breath. Back on Alara Prime, the once calm palace was now silent and broken. The garden walls were cracked. Energy lines sparked in the air. The sky still glowed with the aftershock of Viraya's unleashed power. No one dared to speak. Not the guards, not the maids, not even the queen. Viraya lay resting in her starlit chamber, her breath slow and shallow. Her body was weak, but her soul felt wide awake, as if a door inside her had opened. And now the wind of something ancient was blowing through her veins. Jace sat beside her, silent. His hand gently held hers. He had no idea what to say. He had seen war. He had seen death. But he had never seen a being glow like a galaxy and tear the sky apart. Still, he wasn't afraid of her, just confused. And maybe a little heartbroken. He turned as the door opened. The Ilari queen stepped in, her long robe dragging like mist behind her. Her face was pale. Not with fear, but with memories she had tried to forget. "She needs rest," the queen said softly. "I'm not leaving her." Jace replied, not even looking away. "You may not get the chance to stay," the queen whispered. Jace stood. "What do you mean?" The queen looked at her daughter, her only child, and sighed. "I need to tell you what she is." "I know what she is," Jace said. "She's your daughter. She's Ilari royalty." "No," the queen said. "She's something much older than that." She walked to the edge of the window and raised her hand. A section of the wall dissolved, revealing a hidden chamber below the palace. A library not of books but of memories, stored in crystals that glowed with the knowledge of ancient times. The queen led Jace inside. "This is the memory vault. Only rulers are allowed here. Even Viraya has never seen this." Jace followed, surrounded by floating memory crystals. They hovered like stars, each one humming with locked history. She pointed to one. He touched it. The crystal lit up and the vision flooded his mind. He saw a world made of light, long before the galaxy was divided into species and empires. A time when beings of pure energy ruled the stars, not with armies, but with thought, music, and power beyond reason. Among them was one, a child of balance, born from light and dark. Together, she was not meant to exist. The child grew quickly, stronger than the others. She could heal, destroy, or reshape matter with only her will. She loved deeply, and when she cried, stars dimmed. But others feared her. "She will break the balance," they warned. "She will love a being not of our kind. And when she does, she will change the path of the universe." So they sealed her soul in a bloodline, locked her power behind a false curse, let her be born again and again and again, never remembering what she was. Until now, the vision ended. Jace gasped. "She's not cursed," he said slowly. "She's the key." "Yes," the queen said, "and the High Council knows it." Jace looked back toward the chamber above. So that's why. They sent the enforcers, not to stop the curse, but to stop her awakening. The queen nodded. They are afraid of what happens when a god remembers she was once human. Jace clenched his jaw. They'll come again, not just them, the queen whispered. Something else is waking. Something older than the council. Something locked away when Varaya was first sealed. Jace turned. Then we protect her. The queen looked at him with tired, ancient eyes. You would fight the galaxy for her? I would, he said. Because she's not just some legend. She's a person. And she's finally becoming who she really is. A sudden tremor shook the palace. They ran upstairs. Varaya was awake, floating above the bed. Her body surrounded by blue-white flames. Her eyes glowed like suns. Symbols appeared on her skin, ancient runes that no Ilari had seen in thousands of years. She looked at Jace and spoke with a voice that echoed in layers. It's calling me. What is? Jace asked. The vault, she said. The one buried under the council's moon. Jace stepped closer. Why? Varaya slowly floated down. Her feet touched the ground. She looked calmer now. More focused, because it holds. The second half of what I am, she said. The part they didn't seal, Jace blinked. You mean your power? No, Varaya said. My memory. Far away, at the center of the galaxy, the faceless enforcer kneeled before a throne of crystal shadows. She's waking, it reported from the throne. A voice replied. Then bring her to us. Dead or reborn. The stars above Alara Prime seemed dimmer now, as if the universe itself had turned its face away. Varaya stood at the edge of the royal landing deck. A glowing white cloak wrapped around her shoulders. Her eyes, once soft and distant, now shone. With quiet fire, she no longer looked like a lonely princess. She looked like someone who had remembered a dangerous truth. Jace stood beside her, checking the ship's controls. It was a small vessel, not royal, not marked a shadow ship once used by Ilari spies during the Silent Wars. Fast, invisible, and forgotten. Just what they needed now. The queen gave no farewell. She had already said everything she needed with a single nod. There were no parades. No guards. Only silence and the slow hum of the ship's engines. The mission was clear. Reach the moon of Archon Theta, home to the lost vault buried beneath the council's oldest stronghold. That vault held the second half of Varaya's memory. A key to unlocking what she truly was. And maybe what she was meant to do. As they left the atmosphere, Varaya stood by the window, watching her home shrink into the stars. Are you scared? Jace asked gently. She didn't answer at first. Then she whispered, I'm not scared of what I'll find. I'm scared of what I'll become when I remember it. Jace nodded. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. She looked at him and smiled. Small, but real. But far across space, trouble was already moving toward them. The Galactic High Council was no longer just watching. They were preparing. Inside a great fortress floating above the molten planet of Therax, 12 species sat in a circle of fire and light. Old enemies, old powers. United by fear, the faceless enforcer stepped into the ring. The human and the Ilari girl have left the planet. Destination unknown, but their path leans toward Archon Theta. A tall insectoid creature clicked its sharp claws together. We warned them. The curse was protection, not punishment. A glowing plant being pulsed with red light. She breaks the old seal. If she regains her full memory, she may also awaken the others. An ancient cyborg with a crystal eye leaned forward. We cannot let that happen. The old blood must never return. The council voted again. And this time, it was not for observation, it was for elimination. Across 12 galaxies, the order echoed in secret codes and hidden channels. Activate the Warden. Back on the ship, Varaya woke from a strange dream. A voice had whispered to her through shadows, not a warning, Not a threat. It said only one thing: he is coming. She sat up, heart pounding. Jace was already watching her. Another dream? He asked. Yes, she said. But this time, I think it was real. They reached Archon Theta within hours. The moon was covered in black dust and ancient ruins. No cities, no lights. Just broken stones and buried secrets. The vault was hidden deep beneath the surface, protected by an old Ilari lock that responded only to her blood. Virea stepped forward and placed her palm on the dark stone. The earth trembled. The ground cracked. And the vault opened. Inside, the air was thick with silence. Crystal walls shimmered with memories not yet seen. Jace followed closely behind as Virea walked into the heart of it. Then she saw it. A mirror, tall, cracked, and glowing faint blue. Not a normal mirror. A memory gate. Something used long ago to restore the soul. She touched it. Her body froze. The vault came alive. Light poured from the mirror, filling her eyes with truth. And she remembered. She remembered her first life, when she had been a being of light, born in a time before planets. She had walked through stars, shaped galaxies with her voice. She had loved once someone strong, someone brave, a human. Not from Earth, but from the first human race destroyed long ago. That love had broken the rules of the old ones. They feared her. They sealed her. Split her mind into pieces. Erased her lover from history. Buried the truth under stories of curses. She screamed, not in pain but in rage. Jace caught her before she collapsed again. Her breath was shaky, her face pale, but her voice was strong. I remember now, she said. You were one of them, she said, looking at him with new eyes. You came back. Before he could answer, the walls of the vault shook violently. An alarm blared across the moon. Something had landed, and it was coming fast. Jace pulled out a scanner. His eyes went cold. One ship, no life signs, but something's moving. They rushed out of the vault and saw it. A massive figure walked toward them, black as space, wrapped in armor that flickered like smoke. Its face was hidden behind a smooth mask. No eyes, no mouth, just a mark on its chest, a twisted star, the symbol of the Council's darkest weapon. Virea stepped back. That's the Warden, she said, her voice full of dread. He was built to destroy memory keepers. He kills anything that tries to remember the Forbidden's past. The Warden stopped and spoke for the first time. Virea Ilari, you are out of time. You will forget, or you will die. Jace stepped in front of her. Then you'll have to go through me first. Asterisk, the dust rose in slow motion. Tiny black specks floated in the thin air of Archon Theta's surface. The wind was silent, but the moments screamed with pressure. It was the kind of silence that comes before a great storm. Or a death. The Warden stood at the edge of the ancient vault, its body a black shadow wrapped in broken armor that shimmered with shifting stars. It moved with no sound, but the weight of its presence made the ground crack beneath its feet. It was not alive. It was not dead. It was something worse, a memory killer, designed long ago by those who feared what the mind could unlock. And now it had only one command: erase the girl, erase the past. Leave no witness. Jace stood in front of Virea, with his hands clenched, heart racing. He had no armor, no weapon, no special training to fight machines like this. But still he didn't move. He didn't run. Behind him, Virea's breath was unsteady. Her head still burned with the visions she had seen inside the vault. Pieces of herself, fragments of lives she had lived before. She remembered floating. Cities, forgotten languages, a sun that spoke in sound. But most of all, she remembered love. Not just once. Again and again, across time and space, always with the same soul. A human. Him. Double quotes Jace. She said softly, you were with me in my first life. He didn't look back. He didn't have to. He already knew. The warden moved. It didn't run. It simply appeared, one moment standing still, the next, a blur of motion. Its fist came down like a meteor. J.E. rolled to the side, barely dodging the blow. The ground where he had stood exploded into dust and stone. He grabbed a broken shard of metal from the vault's door. Holding it like a sword, he charged. The shard bounced off the warden's armor like a paper-hitting stone. The machine turned and struck him in the chest, sending Jace flying backward into the rocks. Blood ran from his lip, but he stood up again. The warden tilted its head. "Weak," it said. "Not worthy." But that word "worthy" woke something inside Varaya. She stepped forward, eyes glowing white. Her feet lifted an inch off the ground, and the cracked earth below her began to rise like soft waves. "You are not here to test worth," she said. Her voice layered with ancient tones. "You are here to silence truth." She raised her hand, and a blast of light shot from her palm. The warden was thrown back 10 meters, slamming into the vault wall, cracking the surface with a deep boom. The glow in its chest flickered. Jay stared. "You didn't even touch it," he said. "I didn't have to," she whispered. The warden stood again, slower this time. It looked at her differently now, not as a target, but as a threat. "I see. Now," it said, "you have begun the merge. Your soul and power are joining. That cannot be allowed." Its chest opened. From within came a strange pulse, a red sphere spinning with black rings. A null core. Something made to cancel energy. Even the kind that came from the soul. The next attack wasn't physical. It was mental. Viraya's mind suddenly felt like it was splitting in two. Voices screamed inside her. Memories ran wild. She saw her mother, her past lives, entire galaxies, then emptiness. She dropped to her knees, eyes wide, barely breathing. "Your memories are your weakness," the warden said. But Jace moved again. Time, not with anger, but with clarity. He ran toward the warden, dodging its arm, jumping onto its back. His hand touched the spinning core, and suddenly his body glowed. A golden aura burned around him. The warden screamed in static. It stumbled, sparks flying from its limbs. Varaya looked up and, for a moment, saw something impossible. Jace's energy was pushing back. The null core. His soul wasn't ordinary. He wasn't just a human. He was one of the originals, a lost soul reborn, like her. He was her balance, her other half. And together, their power wasn't just strong, it was complete. She stood again. The earth shook. Her voice rose. Not with words, but with power. She didn't. Fire energy. She sang. A single note, long and low, vibrated through the moon's surface. The stone responded. The air responded. Even the stars above blinked once. The warden collapsed, its armor peeling away, piece by piece. Jace dropped to the ground, panting, but alive. The machine tried to crawl, its voice now broken. "You must not awaken." But Varaya stood over it now, her body glowing like a small sun. "I already have." And with one final touch, she erased the warden's core, not with force, but with memory. She fed it the truth. A flood of knowledge the machine was never meant to hold. It shattered. Silence returned. Jace sat beside her, his hand finding hers. "You remembered," he said. She looked at him with calm fire in her eyes. "And so did you." The vault behind them pulsed one last time, and from it, a crystal rose, shaped like a star, marked with the symbol of two intertwined souls. Varaya took it in her hand. "This is the last piece," she whispered. "The galaxy will come for us now. They'll know we're whole." Jay stood. "Then let them come." But far away, in a dark system outside the known charts, something ancient opened its eyes. The warden's signal was gone. The seal was broken. The voice that followed was deep and cold. "Then the last war begins." Asterisk. The stars were no longer still. Galactic networks shut down without warning. Ancient war beacons, long buried beneath peaceful planets, blinked red again. Ships vanished in hyperspace. Planets lost communication. And somewhere beyond the edge of every known map, something old had awakened, thought the galaxy didn't understand yet, but it could feel the change. Balance had been broken. The seal was gone. The originals had returned. And now they would be hunted. JACE and Viraya stood at the bridge of a stolen high-speed cruiser. It cut through space like a silent blade, powered by Ilari star crystals and old human tech fused together, a perfect balance of two souls, just like them. In the rear chambers, the final crystal from the vault pulsed with soft white light. It hummed in rhythm with Viraya's heartbeat, but neither of them felt peace. Viraya leaned against the window, eyes locked on a distant nebula. Her power was back. Her memory was full. She no longer feared what she was, but now she knew why they tried to keep her hidden. It wasn't just her. There were others. She had seen it in the vault's vision. Scattered across space, sleeping in bodies that had forgotten who they were. Pieces of the original light, pieces of creation itself. And if she woke up, others might wake up too, and someone wanted to stop that. Jace tightened the grip on the ship's controls. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from something building inside him. Since the battle with the Warden, his body felt different. Stronger, lighter, like something inside him was still unlocking. "We don't have much time," Maria said quietly. "They'll send something stronger next. Not just machines, not just soldiers." Jace didn't look away from the stars. "Then we'll hit first." A light blinked on the control screen. Incoming message. Encrypted. Old signal. Not Council. JACE opened it. A woman's voice, deep and calm, came through. "We know who you are now, and we're ready to fight with you. Come to the outer ring of Belsaroon. You'll find us where the sky bleeds silver." It cut off. Viraya's eyes lit up. "That's a resistance frequency." "Resistance?" Jace asked. "Yes," she said. "There are others who don't follow the council. Scientists, healers, outcasts, and some who remember the old stories. They set course immediately, but they were already being followed. In the shadows of a dying moon, the High Council's newest weapon drifted in silence. It wasn't built. It was grown. A living machine. A creature made from fear and memory. They called it the Endkeeper. It had only one purpose: destroy anything born before time. And now it had locked onto the pulse of the Ilari princess and her human bond. Back on the cruiser, Jace and Viraya reached Belsaroon. A dead planet. Nothing lived on the surface. But beneath the cracked crust, hidden in an invisible dome, the resistance waited. Jace stepped off the ship and into a hall filled with every kind of being: aliens, cyborgs, shapeshifters, even two other humans. Not soldiers, survivors. One woman stepped forward. Her eyes glowed gold. "You're the reason we woke up," she said to Viraya. Viraya stared. "You're like me," the woman nodded. "One of the Forgotten 12. I remembered after the Warden fell. Your light woke us." "Then we can fight," Jace said. "Together." But the ground shook. A siren screamed. It had arrived. The Endkeeper. It tore through Belsaroon's surface like a blade through cloth. The sky opened. Light vanished. The machine dropped from orbit, made of black stone and living metal. Its face a mirror of stars. The resistance fired everything they had. Lasers, missiles, gravity, bombs. Nothing worked. It moved through them like wind through smoke. Until it reached Viraya. She stepped forward, her hands glowing with energy that bent time around her. It spoke with no mouth. "You do not belong. You are a flaw in the pattern," she answered. "I am the pattern they tried to erase." Then she flew. The sky turned white as her body became pure light. She struck the Endkeeper in the chest, cracking its armor. Jace ran to the heart of the resistance base. Reaching the ancient console connected to the planetary core, he could overload it. He could destroy the planet, but it would take his life. And hers. Varaya saw what he was doing. "No," she said through the link they now shared. "Not like this." "It's the only way," he said. "No," she repeated. "We were made to survive this, not end it." And then she did something no one expected. She reached into the Innkeeper's mind, not with violence, but with memory. She shared everything. Her past lives. Her love, her pain, her truth. The machine froze. Then it cracked. The Innkeeper screamed and shattered. Silence fell. The battle was over. Jace dropped to his knees. Varaya floated down beside him, glowing, her power dimming slowly. He smiled. "You didn't just fight it. You healed it." She nodded. Some machines were once souls, too. They just forgot. Around them, the resistance cheered. The galaxy had seen the impossible. A forgotten princess. A human man. A love that outlived death. And a truth too powerful to bury. Now the universe had a choice. To keep running from the past, or let the light in. Jace took her hand, and together, they looked at the stars. They weren't afraid anymore, because this time, they remembered.